as we get to the meat and potatoes of the night, which I know is going to be gonna get me some hate mail, but that's part of the duties. This week, man, you had someone ask us why are young marriages failing, and I think it was led by the whole headline. You had Ray J filed for divorce after 4 years. You know, they're a reality TV couple, and then everyone's hero, um, Cardi B and Offset. Cardi B filed for divorce after 3 years. Then a comment comes out today where Offset actually gave a statement where it said he wanted her to scale back on her image and how she presented herself to the world. He said that now that she is a wife, he said that the song WAP was embarrassing. So before I go to you guys and the question, is it about expectations? You know what? I'm not even going to touch it because a lot of people were, I mean, this was the headline of the week. And then you look back and say, well, you don't really know these people. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But I always say oftentimes that, do we really know what marriage is? You know, it's all good. This is my boo. I'm going to lock it down. Y'all going to have sex. Y'all going to go to Pound Town for a couple years until it get boring. And now I got to look at you and try to figure out who you are. You got to try to figure out who I am. Now we got to discover each other. And most times people find out that they don't like each other. And that oftentimes happens a lot. So the question tonight was, why are young marriages failing? And I'm going to Chris.
I, you know what? Let me go last because I want.
I got you.
All right.
I'm just saying I'm not married, so I.
Was it Mario? I'm going to Mario.
No, I got you. I got you.
Okay.
I got you. Relax. It's simple. You asked a question about why they fail, and you got to start with a question that you said, and are they really in love to begin with? See, a lot of it's fugazi. They look good from the outside. You like this person with that person, but they don't have what it really takes to be married, for better or for worse. So when it comes to that, what do they really have? And I think that it's a lot of the upbringing as far as like with society is too widely accepted for you to just cash in your chips and go find another horse. So something we touched on last week, what I think was Toni Braxton, and her saying what she didn't get out of the way before she got married. I think people need to find themselves. And this is the reason why these young people are not lasting, because they haven't found themselves what truly make them happy. And know that marriage is not just for glitz and glamour. It's a lot of hard work. But from there, again, I'm not married. I give it to my brother that's married. He might be able to expound on it a little bit more. That's what I see. What you say, Hart?
Well, hopefully I never go down there. Hopefully I never go down that road. But
Right.
to give you my thought on it, I think I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think marriage is still today meant for what it's supposed to be a long time ago. But I think the world right now waters down everything, and the whole intentions of the world of morals and what the institution of marriage is, it just been ripped up and thrown out the window, because it seems like marriage right now, I'm gonna throw it like what they got to say, it's more of a business deal than anything else. I think it's most of the people, they come together and they say we fit. So okay, our income's gonna double, we look good together, we kind of vibe together, we can have fun together. Boom, you know what? We should get married. And it's gotta work because it just makes sense on paper. So then I say, well, damn, first of all, a lot of times people who get married never had no guidance or never understood what the word or what the whole process of being married is. So really they just get wrapped up into the feeling and emotions of wanting to be around each other and wanting to be tied to each other. So the first thing to come to your mind is go get married, because traditionally that's what they tell you to do when you love somebody. But they don't tell you about all the work and all the compromise and all the forgiveness and all the patience and all the other virtues that you have to have in yourself and hold yourself accountable on before you even take that trip. So I think a lot of time it's just unwillingness to be compromising, because then unreal expectations. To really just settle it down to one sentence is unreal expectations. you brought up Offset. That marriage right there was to have that statement say you want her to scale back when she showed you no indication in her whole life that she wanted to scale back. Scale back makes her happy. That and no inkling of happiness that she ever will have from scaling back. So for you to propose for her to do that is selfish to you. And you had no communication with her because I understood that Cardi B don't want to scale back because that's what makes her happy. She's at her happiest when she's in her stripper mode because she didn't retire from stripping. She found a better opportunity. So she right now, she still has a stripper mentality for fun. That's fun to her. So it's not about the money no more. She likes to shake her ass and wear small things, and that's okay. And that's what she want to do. So for to me, it's like right now people get married with unreal expectations and they don't have no guidance. So here we go again. Now the second thing, the last thing I'm gonna make is you have bad no guidance, unreal expectations, and then you have a whole bunch of friends who not married who giving you marriage advice. That'll tell you every time. Like right now, I love these guys I might ask Tootie because he has been married for a couple of things, but I love Zay and Chris to death, and I'm never gonna ask them for marriage advice. It's not even about that. I don't think they give me good life advice. I think they give me good life advice, but I don't think they've been down that road before. So a lot of stuff they're gonna be doing their best to help me, but they just probably can't. So I'm not even put that pressure on them. But then I see a lot of women gives multiple women who are married and men too advice on marriage, and that's the craziest thing to me. What do you feel about it? Date doctor or horse, whichever.
No, I'm gonna go. Listen, I think when it comes to young couples, I said something. I did an interview this week. You guys supported me on with Nate Simone, and we talked about it at first. And what bothered me was the mainstream, this generation. Oh, you know, you read comments like, "Oh, I bet she's gonna get good. Oh, she's gonna get some nice child support." And I was like, I was kind of angered because you got a young couple that has a child. You have a young couple. You have a black couple, or technically, but you got a young couple, right? And expectations. Again, when you get married, a young couple, I always believe, and this would be my advice to someone: find you another married couple, even an older couple that's been married for a while, that mentor you guys. You know what I mean? Because you do need some support from another married couple that's going to be able to. It might be a dude that you can go to and, you know, confide in, give you some wisdom on how to sustain. I have a friend that's been married for 30 years, the Odoms, right? I got a brother who first girl he met, he married. He's been married 10 years, you know. So, but he's been married. And I think a lot of time we don't surround ourselves with the things that we're going to need to endure. Expectations are going to fail you in relationships or marriage. And I'm pretty sure, I don't want to accuse him, but brother might have got some jokes from his friends or whatnot, and which is, I've learned to be a mistake. Even in wrong, you got to check that. Hey, that's my wife. Don't worry about it. Those conversations will stay inside the house between us. You know what I mean? I do wish they can find some reconciliation, you know, for the sake of the child or the marriage. But oftentimes, I don't think young people really know what comes with it. Even with me, there were things I had an idea of, but even once you get married, there's more to come to. I think there's so many decisions and choices that you have to be on one accord with. And then when you guys can't agree, it comes tension. It might even be some resentment. It might even be some disrespect between the two people, because all the time, especially if you're the man and you feel like you're making the right choice and the woman ain't on one accord, so now you got some other stuff that you're dealing with. But it's funny we say that because people were cheering against their relationship, and a lady on a comment said, well, Offset's a thug. Reality, you don't know this person. But in reality, Offset is not a thug. He's a Migo. But if you follow his background, he's actually a cool kid who's been a background dancer and all of that stuff for the longest. You don't know these people. And yeah. And it was probably unfair for him as a man to say, I wanted her to scale it back if y'all ain't had that conversation in the beginning, because as men or women, just like when women date somebody that she ain't her choice, but oh, he has potential, and then she get mad when he failed her. It's the same way with a guy where he think he's gonna come around, save the day, and now I'm gonna put all my whole ways away and turn in and evolve like Rihanna. Rihanna used to be something. Now you see Rihanna is a global icon who's doing charities and whatnot. But that's not fair to put your expectations on someone else. So I still champion for that young couple. I hope it's not a publicity stunt because people do get tied into, being relevant. It's addictive. But I think a lot of people, just like Ray J, a toxic couple. I mean, we've seen so many incidents on reality TV that y'all got a kid involved, and we've seen them get into it, throwing the pool and stuff. That ain't love, man. I don't know what that is, but when you actually get married, if I could go back and learn some things I've learned, I can learn from mistakes. But as men, again, we don't really get mentored on marriage because a lot of times we don't see successful relationships. But, here nor there, date doctor, please enlighten me.
Well, I think that all marriages are failing. We're talking about young marriages, but statistically, all marriages failing. They have over 50% divorce rate. So that's the thing. But I think for men, men need to start thinking in terms of divorce is a grown man's game. I say it like this: divorce is a grown ass man's game. I mean, marriage is a grown ass man game. I think that we push marriage on young men when they haven't fully developed yet. I think that the 20 to 30 range is a time that you're really going to screw up. I know this because it's almost hard to screw up more than I did from the 20 to 30 range. Then you got from the 30 to the 40 range is where you're actually trying to, make up for all those that decade of screwing up. Hopefully you can have some guidance that'll help you in that 20 to 30 range. But if you don't, a lot of us don't. So we spend the 30 to 40 range doing it. The numbers, I said something about statistics. The number says there's a 50% divorce rate. I would like to think that the rate of men being married after 40 would be a lot better, simply because they've spent 2 of their peak decades finding themselves, working on financial stability. If they had kids, sharpening their parenting skill, just fully developing the man that they are. They spent 2 of their prime decades to do that. I mean, it is called settling down. So if you're going to settle down, you must reach your peak to settle down. So I think that we should start to promote marriage later on, especially when it comes down to women. Like, hey, at the end of the day, they say women mature faster, but that doesn't mean that we're able to work together, and that's what a problem lies. I see with divorce. It's hard to compromise with each other. So I think that again, when a man got to a certain age, he just tired of a lot of things. So he's more willing to negotiate, and I think he's just more of a full person. I think that you're getting a full, complete man. For a woman, I think you're getting a full, complete man. So I think there's nothing wrong with taking your time. I think that we should try to suggest men to take their time and fully reach their peak first, and then consider marriage. That's what I think is the issue. But we have somebody on the line, Michael Thomas. He was divorced, so I would like to talk to him about it. He's also a pastor, and I watch a lot of his stuff. So we'd like to have a conversation with you.
Okay, well, let me go back to a comment that was brought up at ringside. Troy Vaughn and Brian Gardner. He said one of the guys made a comment. He said when it came to marriage, he said he didn't think that woman understood how significant it was if a man chose to marry you. He was like, a lot of times he felt like women would lay down. And then they got into an argument. He was like, a man who has 100%, has all of his stuff together. Why would a man, he said, a man, when he takes on marriage, he's putting himself in a position where he's now taking on more responsibility and taking a risk of losing half if things go wrong. So he said to this woman on the post saying, when a man wants to marry you or he sees you as that woman, that means he's already assessed the risk. He said, you're not supposed to think that way, but he's assessed the risk that if this was possibly to go wrong, that you're worth that risk. And I had never thought of it in that capacity. You know what I mean? And again, a lot of people traditionally in churches, if two couples get together, it's pushed, hey, when y'all gonna get married? When y'all get married? When y'all get married? And a lot of times they haven't even been cultivated to learn how to be the friend and then, progress. Because how many people that get married actually go to pre-marriage counseling? That's something new that I never heard of. Back when my mom and my dad them came up, you had a baby, y'all got married, you did the righteous thing. So now it just seems like people are getting married to consolidate bills, or, I like you the best, but they still doing their own thing. So go to one of these comments back up.
Hold on, one question before we go there. Hardy, when you got married, did you have to go to any counseling? Did you have to seek any counsel or anything like that? What was that process?
You didn't have to, but I wanted to. I wanted to just because, I'm a man of faith, so I wanted to make sure that me and her was aligned on that, because I feel like that's what our marriage is built around. So even furthermore, I don't know if y'all remember, but you remember when, right before I was finna get married, since we got married on the island, I asked for the pastor to come meet with me so I can talk to her. And then remember, I walked away, and me and her went and talked for like an hour just so I can get an understanding, and I could tell her what I wanted and what was my goals. And I just wanted to get into like a spiritual moment just so I can know what, and me get prayed over, because I was walking into this being a shepherd. So, and then make God understand before I even go down there and say I do, and I take on this responsibility that my mind be right to do. So I believe that you have to have some kind of counseling. Even if you don't want premarital counseling or something like that, I believe you need instructions. Like right now, you don't go and be a doctor without going to school. You don't go and be a lawyer without going to school. Like, so marriage right now needs just as much work, and it's right now it could be life or death to so many people, because it can make you have a good life or a bad life. So I think for you to go in it, especially our generation coming in with most of us coming from broken homes, so we didn't even have a visual outlook on marriage. We didn't really have nobody. Like all of us right now, we got our game from each other or from older people who wasn't married on our street, just trying to teach us the best they knew how. So if you don't sit down with somebody or have people around you who gonna pour into you or give you some kind of vision or some kind of help, I believe you're setting yourself up already. So I agree with Tootie saying you need that.
Let me ask you a question. Well, wait a minute, Chris. You got a comment. Kiana James, why is it that in the past, and you wanted this, Chris, before, why is it that in the past generations, men got married younger and divorce rates were lower? I think I covered it, but go ahead, Chris.
Well, we also got to think. We reminisce about this time and we romanticize this time, but we have to think about the conditions of that time. We like to look at that time, but we don't think about the conditions of that time. Women had a lot limited options, limited resources. So I don't. You have to talk to those women and see if they was happily married. I don't think the goal is to get married. The goal should be to be happily married. Anybody can get married. It takes nothing to. You can go to the courthouse and get married. We should be focusing on how do we become happily married. And I think that process has to take more time. I just truly do. We're talking about younger. Who cares what age it is? Long as we get the job done and we actually happy. We can't get. We're not them. We're just not them. Let's talk about how things are right now. And I think
it's evolution, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
It's evolution.
Michael, you put that up, and that's a good point. And what she said, but I believe exactly what Terrell said. Men haven't changed. Let's get to furthermore piggyback on what Chris said. You got to understand, back in the days, I believe some women may have got married because they was in true love, but I believe a lot of women back in the days got married because they wanted out of their mom's basement. I believe they wanted a man who can provide them and raise a family. They wanted a house over their head. Back then, the black family needed 2 incomes, or you needed a structure. Men was the breadwinners back then. So if you didn't get married, you couldn't have nothing back then. Women is having many rights. So you was almost forced as a woman to stay and deal with all the bullshit that a man was giving you, because it's this so-called I don't know what it's thought from that men was so perfect back in the day and we so horrible now. But right now, men was able to get away with so much stuff because they controlled the money. Women had very, very little options on taking care of themselves, especially being a single mom. You was castrated and pushed out on the side. So if a man had all the money, that's why you got married. You got married because you controlled everything. When women's rights came in, everything else split up and went to the side too. Then after women's rights came divorce. So now a woman can make more than you, so she don't have to listen to you, she don't have to put up with you, and she don't need you because she's self-sufficient, unless it's emotionally. Two, it's easy to walk down there and just rip up a piece of paper and go on about your business. So I think the world has changed, but then everybody like to look through that glass, that little glass, that hourglass back in the future and say, yeah, you know what? It was better back then because people stayed together for 40 years. But then the man had 4 families, beat his wife, and never came home. And she couldn't even say, she couldn't do shit but shut up and raise her kids. We don't look at that picture.
Yeah, Let me read this comment real quick, Chris.
All right.
Michael Thomas. I believe in the older times, people got married for a more genuine reason. They were actually in love with your best friend. They had a strong moral compass. Their relationship was more organic. They really knew the person, but nowadays people get married for not the same reasons. Sometimes marriage is an image thing. If I was a dog or player now, I get married to prove I'm not those things any longer. Or if a young lady had a promiscuous reputation and a child, it cut off. But okay, that was a comment from Mike Thomas.
Yeah, it was a good comment.
And it was good too.
Most of it I agree with, except for just the part of I believe a lot of women got married back in the days just to survive.
Security.
Would you like me to finish reading it? Would you like me to finish reading it?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Strong chance I would have to financially make it happen. However, I believe in the old school way of doing things. The man will always be seen as a man. If you have no funds, I'm giving you credit, giving you a credit card or cash before you exit the vehicle. So you look your part until you can play it fully. If both in the couple can bypass having an ego about everything, you'll be fine. I'm definitely a breadwinner, and I know I probably won't meet my match monetarily. See, that's a part. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, but at the same time, I believe that marriage is the responsibility of the marriage is on the person that asks for it. To me, and if the man is going to be asking for it, I believe that responsibility is on you. A wise man once said, you let her plan the wedding, you plan the marriage. You need to take full responsibility for what you asked for. You didn't know, no one held a gun to your head. You shouldn't have let that woman manipulate you or pressure you into it. It should be your decision. So once you make that decision, that's on you. The goodness of this marriage, the improvement of this marriage is you have to take that responsibility on, and you got to take that shit damn seriously. People think I have an issue with marriage. I have an issue with bullshit marriages. I have an issue with a showcase and not actual marriage, because I believe that the man have to take full responsibility for what he asked for what he went and bought a ring for, what he went down that aisle and said in front of these people. That's your responsibility, homie. That's your responsibility, and you need to take care of that. That's you the one chose to do that. Look, you can be single for the rest of your life. Trust me, I've been single for a long time. It's plenty food to eat out here, cuz it's plenty food to eat. You ain't got to pick one restaurant to eat at. But once you do, take the shit seriously. Take the shit 100% seriously. That's all I'm saying. I ain't trying to dog it, but you need to take that shit seriously.
I gotta get a buzzer.
I 100% agree.
I want you on that, bro.
I believe since it's so easy to walk away now, you have no repercussions from not taking it seriously. But you don't understand, like Tootie was bringing up, you having kids, you bringing families, you combining families. So now you got a mother-in-law and they got a mother-in-law and everybody coming together. But then y'all out here just fucking off in the streets. And then now all of a sudden you just get out of there. Then that next thing you know, it's just like, oh, okay, well, it didn't work. We both tried our best. Well, you're lying. Neither one of y'all tried. Neither one of y'all compromised. Neither one of y'all fought for each other. Y'all just thought it was gonna be peaches and cream. It wasn't, and then y'all said, "Oh, the hell with this, I'm out."
You speaking to me, Mario? I do want to remind you, our sponsor tonight. Our sponsor tonight is a church.
Sorry, Renee.
Luckily, it's a Baptist church. Thanks a lot.
Swear jar.
Yeah, you got $100 in there. Hey, but to the point, I just think the definitions, man, of what marriage is. Everybody got options now. You got social media now. The sources of divorces are what are interesting. You know what I mean? And the woman made a point about back in the days, women stayed unhappily married. Now, a woman rather have peace than be happy. But Salazar Z, I put a post up earlier this week when I was telling y'all what she was checking women like, whether y'all know it or not, it is by design where they're allowing y'all to make this much money more than us, while most men are getting either put in jail, killed. So you already dealing with that X factor, right? So then the women that are professional making the six figures, you're demeaning the man. You want a man or do you want an equal? Because a lot of people will say, I need somebody on my level. That's not realistic. Most men, I mean, are enduring stuff. There's some brothers that make it to college and whatnot. And sad to say, most time he ain't checking for you. But if you want a true good man, a decent man, there are plenty of men out there. He might not make six figures, but he's respectable. He has a moral compass. So I'll say a lot of times that we get that whole women's movement kind of came in and disrupted the black home, like Salazar Ali said. And it just bothers me because one of my friends, and I'm hoping she logged in tonight. She's been on a dating site. Now, she happily will tell you that she's not, she's dating here and there. She has 6 kids. So I'm like, well, what are you looking for? Because you've been on the dating site for the longest. She was like, I'm looking for somebody 6'2". So that's how the conversation started off.
Okay.
You 5'1", 6 kids, 5'1", 6 kids. Like, she's open to me saying this to y'all. You 5'1", you got 6 kids. You talking about your first thing out your mouth is you need somebody 6'2"? You get out of here. You're not being realistic, man. So,
but I think that worked out for us, man. I think like with our women being one of the most educated, leading in entrepreneurship. I think that works out for us, man. We get to pick from the creme de la creme. So we get to pick from the top. Like that's a good thing. So when you do choose one, chances are great you should be choosing a good one.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Because the thing about it is this: that decision can help you so much in life. The decision of the woman that you pick, bro, you should be pick. You can let the woman pick whatever. If she wants 6'2", that's her business. What about you, bro? You need to be picking one that's going to benefit you. That's going to be a true asset to your life. If not, you wasting your time, and you could just still be Smash Nation into the death. But don't pick one that's good for you.
I agree 100% what you're saying, because I always feel like I never in my life thought that I would have any kind of problem getting married. That never crossed my head. I never thought, man, I'm sure getting old. I wonder when I'm gonna find a wife. I never hear dudes say that. Never in my life have I heard. I'm saying some dudes might say that, but not in my crew of elect fellow gentlemen. But right now, when you get to a certain age, you got to understand that. So then, when I'm saying, man, it's not, and I'm not even saying it to be a chauvinist. I'm saying it's real. So when you're looking into the world and you're saying, well, man, I have accomplished some things. I'm not that bad looking. I do work out. I do take care of my kids. I am this person. So then you go into the world and you say, bro, I can have a lot of women. So then when you say that, and that comes to a thought, and then it comes to reality. But then you got to say, how do I find the person who I know is going to be my helpmate? How do I find the other part of me that's going to help me on my purpose? How do I find the person that God wanted for me to go into a different atmosphere to bless other people in life? So when you start looking for all those things right there, then the other frivolous stuff that you was looking for, that social media dingled in your face, it'll start falling off. Because listen, another thing that men have today that men didn't have is social media. I don't know if my granddaddy would have married my grandma if he had Instagram. Because
I'm just saying.
Instagram is a hell of a thing.
Listen,
Yeah.
if he had social media, y'all would have found out about your relatives across town.
My 2 uncles in Mississippi that I never met.
Yeah, granddaddy might have got stabbed. Granddaddy probably would have got stabbed.
Right, but that's just the real. That's why I say I don't like to cross. Just like in sports, I don't like to cross times. These people are good because of this. These people are good because of this. But I think if everybody just sit down and understand and say, what, like Chris said, what do I want out of a marriage? And then you say, well, if I want that, I'm gonna be this. And then start working on you. Don't expect. I tell Chris all the time, I don't worry about what my wife do for me so much. I worry about being the best husband I can. So if she walk out tonight and say, I don't want him, he want to know. I'm going to be hurt. I'm going to call my friends, and then I'm going to say, hey, I honestly did the best I could. I know as a man, I couldn't do no more. So I know the hurt won't last that long because I can't be who I'm not. But see, sometimes you looking back in the mirror, when everybody leaves, you say, damn, bro, I was a shitty ass husband. I was a shitty ass man. And then that's what hurts to furthermore. And then if you don't learn from that, you go to the next husband, the next relationship, and the next relationship, and the next relationship. So I think it starts with accountability and really being truthful. What do you as a man? Don't make nobody. Chris always said, don't have no nuts. Men have nuts, please.
Mario, I want to back you up on that. 2 things that I give advice for accountability. If you're married and you're in a relationship, marriage, listen, 2 things. 1, make sure if you're going to have some friends that you allow to penetrate your relationship, which should not happen, make sure you got some friends, some homegirls that's going to tell you when you're wrong. And then if you actually going to be telling your business to your friends, which you should not, make sure you're at least honest with them. I see a lot. Well, I ain't gonna say I see a lot, but listen, and tell them my business. But you have people that you have a married woman, and it's similar to guys, a married woman, a married man, and all their friends single. So they, like Mario said, you can't give me the advice that I need, and you ain't gonna give me nothing constructive. You know what I mean? And for you to know it, I've seen for me, date doctor, I've seen a lot of times a woman married, all her friends single, and they pretty much on that F all men stuff, and for it know it, it didn't penetrate her mind. Now she out there with the friends, and ain't none of them got no man.
Well, I like to speak about the black super friends, and the last thing we gonna do is try to influence Hardy to not to not be a bad husband. I mean, to be a bad husband. You can't. I've always said you can't even cheat around me. There's not. You can't. I'm not helping you cheat. I'm not helping you cheat. I'm not helping you do none of that. I am never going to say anything negative about your wife. I'm never going to you. We're not going to have that conversation. Anytime we have a conversation, it's going to be a accountability conversation about what you doing, not what she doing. It's going to be about what you doing. You'll never have to worry. You'll never have to worry about me saying anything bad or trying to tell you, oh no, you need to leave her or nothing like that. That's what friends should be friends no matter what. If them some shitty friends, them you got some shitty friends. But homies, black super friends, what we need to be, black super friends, not just regular friends, not just kind of friends. We black super friends. So we need to stand up for that. You don't interfere in your homeboy marriage. You don't do that. That's just me. That's how you get that.
I commend y'all for that because I believe all of y'all. Especially, I know I said this just getting off the topic a little bit, but I said when I got married, I invited a bunch of people, but I believe in my heart the right people like actually came, right? So then in the midst of that, all of y'all at some point brought me to the side and was like pouring in. And most of y'all wasn't married. I think like before, and like you came to my wedding, like 2 of them have been married, you know what I'm saying? So me and him had talked prior to this a bunch of times. But other than that, it wasn't too many. But then the point of the seriousness that y'all seen I believe y'all kept pouring, you know what I'm saying? So I believe it started with y'all seeing that I was sincerely going into this trying to be the best I could be. And then as my homeboys, y'all said, well, we're going to do everything to help him be the best he can be. And I think that started with you. So right now, if I came into y'all be like, shit, man, you know, I'm just married a little bit to get a little, you know what I'm saying? Then y'all would have approached it like that too, though. So you see what I'm saying? Because right now, when you don't take something serious, you can't expect your shitty ass friends to take something serious. Because then you're going to call them shitty ass friends, but really they just mimicking you. Because a lot of women going to say, oh, these hating ass women, when really you acting like you have the worst marriage in the world. So they have no problem, but their input gonna be leave his ass.
Negative, yeah.
Girl.
Hey, too,